Hey everybody, this is Jasmine coming to you with another YouTube video with a Notch Higher Living YouTube channel. The channel is designed for creating a space and an environment where healthy relationship skills can be learned, developed, practiced, and ultimately thrive. I do this each week by coming with another book review. So again, book reviews are not the only way that you can learn something about relationship skills, but this is the method and this is the modality that I am using to present to you. So let's get right into it. We're getting into our next book, and it is called The Emotionally Healthy Leader. It's how transforming your inner life will deeply transform your church, team, and the world. Church, team, and the world. So whether you are a person of faith or not, this can benefit you. The book is by Peter Scazzero. Let's get right into this one today. So I actually reviewed a book by his wife, The Emotionally Healthy Woman. So I wanted to give them a pairing book review because these two books honestly have been pivotal for my life and looking at under the surface issues about relating to people in an emotionally healthy way. And the reason why I stopped to say emotionally healthy, because one thing that I understand about relationships is that you can be in relationship and I can be in relationships with people, but it may not be the most healthy or functional way, or it could be dysfunctional. And there are certain people who have this mindset that, well, I've been in this relationship for you fill in the blank years, and it's almost like when we work, we feel like that if we've been in a position, well, I've been with a company for 40 years, but it's like, well, but nobody can work with you in a productive way. I think that's what we take with our relationship sometimes. We think that because we're in this relationship, well, no, I've been married for 25 years, but it's almost like you're a roommate to your spouse, or your children cannot connect with you, or you're so distant in your emotions, and when your relating style, you're so cold-hearted. People don't want to really be around you. They will because almost like they have to. And I don't think that's the best way for us to do things. So in this book, The Emotionally Healthy Leader, and I'm going to preference this and qualify people who may not be leading a team. I'm going to say that if you are a person living and breathing, you are a leader, because guess what? You get to lead yourself. So no one is excused, or no one has an excuse that this book would not possibly benefit you. Or yes, benefit you, because you are the leader of your life. So there are really two sections of this book that the author has. He actually starts off, before the first part, is talking about his journey through emotionally unhealthy leadership. Because how many of us have been in toxic work environments, toxic work cultures, toxic relationships, even dysfunctional or toxic family dynamics? And we know that, and we can all say, oh yeah, me, and we can laugh, joke, or just kind of give the side eye like wink wink, yes, that's me. But one thing that I have in my observation of living is notice that there's not so much as a energy placed, or that we put the time in and work into having less toxic relationships and better functional relationships. We try, but there is a skill, or there is work to be done, because the truth is we've worked hard and long at having dysfunctional relationships. So that's almost like that is the norm. So in order to change something that has been the pattern, we have to disrupt what that current pattern is. So the author talks about his journey through emotionally healthy leadership, and then he has the chapter open up with the emotionally healthy unhealthy leader, so that we can get a view and that we can get a standpoint of what that looks like. So part 1 is called the inner life, and it also talks about things that are going on under, beneath, and under the surface of our lives. So my name is Jasmine, and I'm smiling. I'm having a great day, everybody. Everything is going good. Like I just posted, I just had my 1 millionth follower. I'm making this amount of money. I'm doing this. Yeah, me and my babe, me and my boo, we just got together. We just got engaged, and I can tell you so many things going on and make it look like something. None of that is wrong, and none of that is bad at all. But the truth of it is that there can be so many things going on. Like, yes, I just had my 1 millionth follower, and I feel exhausted because I am trying to get likes and people to follow me to fill a void. Yes, I was just engaged to my bae and my boo, but honestly, me and him are not really on the same page. I'm just getting older, and what I really want is someone to be in my life so that I can feel better and maybe I can feel okay about myself. Yes, I'm making this amount of money, but I am working this many hours and I'm not really taking care of myself. So when the author is talking about facing the inner life, he is really talking about facing those things that we move towards so that we can be okay with ourselves, as opposed to face the things that make us not okay. I know that's a big and a broad statement, but when we talk about the inner life, let's see. He provides this clear picture, and I'm going to actually show you. So what I like about it is he talks about our inner life. It's the things that we don't see. Like when you're talking about building a building or constructing a building, the most important part is the foundation. If you can see that, the most important part are the things that you cannot see. And a lot of times in our relationships, we are so focused on what I just said to you, showing people what they can see, or showing people the stats, but internally, or what they cannot see, is that I'm motivated by that because of fear. I'm motivated by doing these things because of insecurity. I'm motivated by doing these things because of lack internally in who my identity is as a person, period. So I have to have all of these accolades. I have to have all of these things to make me somebody. So when the faultiness of the foundation, is faulty, what happens is that what we attempt to build where people can see, it may go up and it may be constructed, but eventually the faultiness of the foundation will begin to erode our lives, will begin to erode what we're attempting to build. So our inner life, that's the part 1. That's what the author says is very, very important. And I'll just go through the titles of the chapter. Is talking about facing your shadow. That part of us that in these deep, dark places that we don't want anybody else to know, and we don't go there ourselves, we need to face those. We don't need to run away from those. He talks about this, and I love it. He says to lead out of your marriage or singleness. As a single woman, I don't have to feel like my life isn't full or is not enough because I don't have someone else. I can lead out of that. I am in the best place of my life because I have the time to, 1, serve God the King, and to serve others, and I can utilize my skills, gifts, and abilities without having someone to often question me, or and it's not wrong to be in a marriage, is not what I'm saying, but I have the freedom. That's what I'm saying. I have freedom as a single woman to be and do all that I was called to be and do. And so many times I'll say it as the single part because I hear so often the marriage portion talked first, because normally people are talking towards the married couples. But I will say to anyone who's single, who's widowed, who's divorced, who's separated, who a widower, anyone who has the space by themselves right now, to look at it as a gift and to lead out of that place as opposed to wanting to be something else. And I'll go to the married couples, because sometimes leading out of your marriage means, for a lot of people, posing as you have something, and making the look of your relationship as opposed to actually putting the work into the relationship. So leading out of your marriage means that your focus is, if you're a leader, or if you are a person who has influence, your first and foremost is your family, is your marriage, the spouse that you have, and then the attention that you put into the marriage, because everything else builds off of that, as opposed to you want your marriage to be a sticker to co-sign your life, to make you more important than what you are. The time and energy that you put in to your marriage as a person who is married is more important than all of the accolades that you can receive from your work environment or anything externally from your marriage. Because at the end of the day, the person who's on your team and the person who's on your side, it should be your spouse. So that's the relationship, and that's the focus that you really want to attend to. And then it says to slow down for loving union. Pretty much means being at a slower pace. In our heavy grind culture and just gotta go high performance, there are certain times where we need to slow down so we can smell the roses, so that we can be ourselves. How can we show up? How can I show up fully to be who I am if I'm always busy and I'm trying to be someone else? So that's all I will say with that one. And then practice Sabbath delight. Now, this is a term for those who are not of faith. Sabbath, it really is a term of resting, and it goes back to slowing down for loving union. In our hyper culture of go, 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 there is, scientifically it's been proven, biblically it has been called to be and proven as well. And again, I will bring my faith in this. God of the universe, he created the earth and the world in 6 days. And then on the 7th day, he rested. And then he created all of us in his image. So if he created everything that we see and he had the time to stop, I have been convicted of this. It's like, who do I think I am where my life is that important? Because I am important, but it's not so important to always be on the go. Rest is beautiful. Rest is actually needed. Rest and delight and Sabbath and slowing down and stopping is actually healthy, definitely in relationships. So practicing Sabbath delight. And then we go to part 2, which is the outer life. Now, this is the crux of what normally people get to say, like, that's what I want to do. Like, forget all that inner life stuff. I just need to know, how do I make things work better? But the premise of this book is that in order to make your outer life better, I need to focus on my inner life. So the chapters for here are planning and decision making. It's going to be everything that we all need to do to have our best life. Culture and team building, power and wise boundaries, endings and new beginnings. Now, I'm not going to go through each chapter and just break that down. What I am going to say is that what I realize is that if I don't have the inner workings functioning in a healthy way, I won't plan or have wise decision makings. I won't plan productively and have wise decision making. The culture and the team building, it won't exist, because again, even in my singleness, my friends, and I am learning this right now. I posted a video on relational intelligence, and I am in the process of really ranking and understanding the people that I have been around in my life. Some of them have been associates, and I've considered them as friends. And when I look at the pattern of what I have allowed in my life and who I've allowed in my life and even who I've shown up to be, that's the culture that I have built. And that's the team that I have built around me. So I am in the process of really slowing down and seeing how I need to have a better culture personally, and even in my professional life, business life, everything, and a team built around me that is really healthy and really on the team. And then power and wise boundaries. When I am not looking at what's best for slowing down, I don't have wise boundaries. For power sometimes becomes that fuel for me to be okay with myself. And when those things are out of place, we see the effects of that when companies like Enron and BP, things happen and there was no accountability because one, internally there were no slowing down to say, is this really right? And then there were no boundaries and there was no accountability, or little to no accountability. And then endings and new beginnings. Now, there are things in our lives that we need to acknowledge that need to end. And I'll say it really simple. When you were in the first grade, it would have been ludicrous for anyone to say, why don't you want to stay in the first grade? Second grade is not all that okay, all that. Just stay in the first grade. How would we have gotten to the 12th grade if we never ended the previous grade? And a lot of times, and I'm sitting up more to say this, emotionally, that's one thing that we don't do as leaders for our life. We have gone, it's time to go to the new space in our life. And there's a movement that needs to take place. So yes, I've often been a friend who's been the assistant for my friends, who has always been there for them. But the reason why was because I needed to be in their life no matter how I could get there. So now that I slowed down, that I know that I'm enough, whether I do something for my friends, relationships or not, I know that Jasmine is smooth sailing at who I am. So my level of confidence is already at, I'm not deficient. I'm right here with my confidence. So since I'm no longer trying to fill this space of deficiency, I'm here. So if you need me to do something, I'm good. If you don't need me to do something, I'm good. But Jasmine is okay. So I needed to end that assistant friend mentality for myself. So where people used to be in my life because I would check on them, or I would say, what do you need? And a lot of times, I'll be completely transparent. A lot of the connections that I've had when I looked at certain ones, they were, if I'm doing something for them, there's a connection and there's a relationship. But if there's nothing being done for them, there's not really a connection there. And I take full responsibility for this. If anyone is looking at this, I'm not saying I won't do anything for anyone. What I'm saying is that I noticed the pattern. So I needed to end that. And my new beginning for emotionally being present with people is to say that I may have something for you or I may not. But the person that I am, I know that that's sufficient. And if you're willing, and if that's good enough for you, we can build from there. Otherwise, where I needed to end was the insecure part of the way I showed up. And my new beginning is I'm showing up and I am being the person that I was created to be, and I'm learning how to be that every day. So the book for today that I have really been able to, again, go through, this is another one of the books that you definitely want to go through again and again, not simply so you can say, oh, I read the book, but more for practice. Because again, this is a place where you can develop your skills for healthy relating to others, to yourself and to others, and then you can practice those skills. So I am practicing it today because the way that I've recorded the videos today are to come a little bit more relaxed and not so much think, well, I wonder what somebody will think about this. honestly, the way that I am recording this particular video today is that I hope that there is something that you can take from it so that your life, in whatever area where you have those questions, doubts, or the dysfunction or unhealthiness in your life, that you can find that answer for yourself, and that you can have the life that you were designed to have, and you design the life that you were created to have. So I'm so grateful that you tuned in today and that you listened to this video, and we will come with another book shortly. Have a great one, and remember this: who you are is so much more important than what you do. So never stop being the best you. Have a great one.